The Landlord of Dust and Gold. Part 2. The Storm of Politics. Naveed Khan returned to Mehrabad like a slow poison carried by the wind. He did not arrive with weapons or angry crowds. He arrived with cameras, government vehicles, and smiling officials. Large banners appeared on village walls. Justice for farmers. Land rights for the poor. For the first time in many years, Karim Shah felt his control being questioned. The new game. Naveed organized public meetings where he spoke about illegal land grabbing, unpaid wages, and unfair water distribution. Farmers listened carefully. Some were afraid to speak openly, but the seeds of doubt were planted. Hassan Shah warned his father, "This man is not like the others. He is using public sympathy. We must stop him early." Karim replied calmly, "Noise does not destroy empires. Roots do." But soon problems began to grow like weeds. Government inspectors arrived to check land records. Media reporters visited villages and interviewed poor farmers. All disputes were reopened in courts. For the first time, Karim Shah was forced to sit in government offices, waiting for signatures like an ordinary man. This humiliation burned his pride. Family divisions. Inside the mansion, another storm was rising. Sarah Shah openly criticized her father's methods. "Abba," she said one evening, "you helped people, yes, but you also took land from desperate families. Now they are suffering. This anger will return to us." Karim became angry. "You speak like a city activist, not like a Shah. Power is not built with kindness alone." Bilal, the youngest son, was busy with parties, racing cars, and gambling debts. His reckless behavior began to damage the family reputation. Only Hassan stood firmly with Karim, handling political meetings and legal matters. But even Hassan had ambitions of his own. He wanted faster expansion, more aggressive control, and direct entry into national politics. The first blow. Naveed Khan achieved his first victory when a court ordered temporary suspension of Karim Shah's control over a large piece of disputed land near the river. Farmers celebrated. News channels called it the beginning of land reform in Mehrabad. Karim smashed a glass in anger. "This is not reform," he said. "This is war." That night, secret meetings were held. Lawyers were hired. Old political favors were activated. Pressure was applied in silent ways. But Naveed was ready. He released documents showing corruption in irrigation, contracts linked to Karim's associates. The public image of the great landlord began to crack. The Landlord of Dust and Gold. Part 1. The Rise of Haji Karim Shah. The village of Mehrabad lay between two rivers that met, like silent rivals on the edge of the desert. One river brought life, the other carried destruction during floods. Yet both obeyed the same master, Haji Karim Shah, the greatest landlord the region had ever known. His mansion stood on a small hill, built of white stone and crowned with wide balconies. From there, Karim Shah could see his land stretching as far as the eye could travel. Golden wheat fields, cotton farms, mango orchards, and endless canals that shimmered under the sun. People said that if a bird started flying from one corner of his property, it would grow tired before reaching the other end. But Karim Shah had not always been a king of land. A poor beginning. He was born in a mud house at the edge of Mehrabad. His father, Rashid Shah, was a tenant farmer who worked on another man's land. Rashid died when Karim was only 12, leaving behind debt, a weak mother, and 2 younger sisters. The landlord of that time, Malik Ghulam Dasgir, was a cruel man. He took half of every harvest and still demanded extra payments. When Rashid Shah died, Malik tried to seize the family's small cattle and tools. That was the day Karim learned his first lesson of power. He stood in front of Malik's guards, barefoot with dust on his face, and said, "You can take our cow today, but one day I will take your land." The guards laughed. Malik laughed even louder. But Karim did not forget that humiliation, the fire of ambition. Instead of breaking, Karim worked harder. During the day he labored in the fields. At night he went to the small village school, learning to read, write, and count. The school teacher, Master Rafiq, noticed the boy's sharp mind. "You don't think like a farmer's son," Master Rafiq once said. "You think like a man who wants to rule." Karim smiled and replied, "I don't want to rule people. I want to own the ground they stand on." By the age of 18, Karim had saved enough money to buy 2 small acres of abandoned land near the river. Everyone called him foolish. "That land floods every year," villagers warned him. But Karim studied the river's behavior, built small embankments, and dug smart drainage channels. After 2 years, his crops were better than anyone else's. Slowly, he bought more land from poor farmers, widows, and desperate families. Some said he was clever. Others said he was heartless. Karim said nothing. He only counted his acres, marriage, and power. When Karim turned 25, he married Zainab Begum, the daughter of a declining noble family. Though her family had lost much of their wealth, they still carried social respect and political connections. This marriage changed everything. Through Zainab's relatives, Karim entered district politics. He learned how files moved in government offices, how land records could be adjusted, and how officials could be influenced. Within 10 years, Karim Shah became one of the largest landowners in Mehrabad. He bought Malik Ghulam Dasgir's property when the old landlord fell into debt. On the day Karim signed the papers, he visited Malik's old mansion. The same man who once laughed at him now sat weak and silent. Karim stood in front of him and said calmly, "You taught me something important, that power never stays with one family forever." Malik lowered his eyes. Karim walked out as the new master of Mehrabad, the king of the village. With land came influence. People now called him Haji Sahib, even before he had gone for Hajj. Farmers came to him for loans. Marriages needed his approval, and disputes were settled in his courtyard. Every morning, dozens of villagers stood outside his gate. A farmer asking for water access, a widow begging to save her son from prison, a trader seeking protection for his business. Karim listened carefully, spoke little, and decided everything. He built a mosque, a small hospital, and a school. To some he was a hero. To others he was a silent dictator who controlled lives with smiles instead of whips. His children grew up in luxury. Ahsan Shah, his eldest son, educated in the city, ambitious and proud. Sarah Shah, his daughter, intelligent and sensitive to injustice. Bilal Shah, the youngest, spoiled and careless. Karim believed the future of his empire depended on Ahsan. "You will inherit land," Karim told him. "But more importantly, you will inherit fear and respect. Never let either disappear." The hidden enemy. Despite his power, Karim Shah had enemies. One of them was Naveed Khan, a former friend who had helped Karim in early business.